Breaker, breaker into the black. This is Longhaul Preacher, and I ain't going back. I'm a Longhaul Preacher, and I'm just passing through with a few words of wisdom while we're taking in the view. Howdy, y'all, and a special Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. We fathers greatly appreciate all you do. And that's kind of the topic of this podcast, gentlemen, being appreciative of the wives in our lives. Well, back in my World of Warcraft days, I hate to say it, the term WoW widows came into being, those women who lost their men to hours of World of Warcraft. Now, I was one of the lucky ones. My wife wanted to play. She usually played a hunter. I'd tank, and we'd go all over the place. If she wanted something, I'd help her get it. But most of all, she had specific things she liked about the game, mainly the crafting. She'd run after mining nodes, herb patches, and certain animals and such with her characters, often leaving me tanking something alone in the process. And while I wouldn't say that I was all that enthusiastic about it all the time, I was greatly appreciative that she wanted to play a game with me. Just like we'd used to do figuring out all those Ultima games back in college. And here are a few things I learned from all that. Number one, if the other person is not enthusiastic about the game as you are, it is your job to make whatever they are enthusiastic about the center of your attention. You want to just play. She wants something specific about that game. So she wins. Number two, if the other person doesn't like the game at all, to change games. Seriously, I get it. There are some great games coming out all the time, but your wife and kids are more important than any game. Number three, if you aren't sure, guess what? Time to ask questions and listen. So all that said, I want to go through my picks for the Star Citizen Mother's Day ship gifts on the assumption that your wife is not totally unlike mine, liking combat less than just about everything else. So that will be rule number one here. Combat-only ships are out. Some women love to fly, others not so much. But most like to fidget, do various things. So let's make that rule number two. Versatility is in. And finally, it's a gift for her, not you, so make it something you two can join in and enjoy together. After all, that is the purpose of all of this podcast I'm doing, to have fun as a family. So rule number three, 2 or more crew only. So let's dive in. Okay.
Hauling.
Now there's lots of hauling ships out there. I won't go into that much detail because of it. But there is one for anyone who is either a speed freak or a hacker, and that is the Herald. 2 crew and hauls only data. This will either be an overloaded profession or a specialty, one of the two. The second notable is the Banu Merchantman, a combination heavy hauler and flying marketplace. Well, being alien is just a perk. Third is the Reclaimer, a salvage ship. No, not that one. This one. Should be able to make good money on other people's sorrows. Fourth, the Orion, a mining ship that eats an asteroid field for breakfast. That's one way to find her diamonds. And finally, for those dreaming of a 747, there is the Genesis, the only marked passenger transport of all the ships. No idea that what this one is going to look like, but it should still be fun.
Refuel and repair.
Now, the Starfarer is, so far, the only ship on the books that both collects gases and refines it into fuel. At 7 crew, it is also very crew-heavy. On the other hand, CIG does not intend the most valuable fuels to be easily had, requiring both a great pilot and possibly something of a great chemist in the refining process. The crucible should be noted for those who are on racing team families, likely able to both carry a racer from race to race as well as fixing it. And the screens CIG has shown so far indicate that they want it to get pretty real, with welding requiring material, gas, and temperature specifics depending on what you're repairing.
Medical.
On the smallest and cheapest end, the Cutlass Red is nearly ready for release. The flying ambulance should make any doctor want to be happy at least until they can get their hands on the Endeavor in hospital format.
Exploration.
Only one deep scan ready ship is a single crew, and that's a 315P. But the rest are 2 or more crew members. This includes, in order of crew size, the Terrapin, the Freelancer DUR, the Constellation Aquila, and the Carrack. The versatility of the craft are in the reverse of that order. The Carrack having a repair and medical bay, and both the Aquila and the Carrack having a rover and a secondary flight craft.
Oddball.
The Reliant Mako and Sen are the odd ships out, with each one outfitted differently. One is outfitted with cameras and a production seat for both in-game broadcast and out-of-game podcasting and live feed. The other has added sensors and a chemistry and microscope lab. Chemistry labs should be able to create things. Some are joking about illegal drugs, but I'm sure legal things can also be made.
Multipurpose?
Now, there's only one ship that is directly designated multipurpose, and that's the constellation Andromeda. But another one that should be noted, but it is expensive, is the Endeavor. With all the expected ways it can be configured, you can be anything from a flying farm to an emergency hospital to a scientific platform examining both the telescopic and the microscopic.
Luxury.
So let's talk about romance and comfort. 2 expensive ships then surface, the Constellation Phoenix, which should be out fairly quickly, and the 890 Jump. Now, the 890 Jump in particular is designated to be a kind of small private cruise ship. It even has separate crew quarters. The cheaper Phoenix is more like a smaller private yacht. Either way, it is for cruising in luxury, not so much for anything else. But, hey, if you have money to burn, she'll love it. Now, I'm sure some of you have different ideas, but let's face facts. Our wives are all different, our kids are all different, and the key is taking these differences and finding a common ground to play in. If you don't, you'll find nothing but frustration. As for other things you could buy in Star Citizen, well, I'll tell you what, my daughter has really taken a shine to the shirt I got her, and I understand more is coming. So take a look, buy wisely, and know that it is going towards the development of the game, and that development is just starting to ramp up to what they call exponential growth, now that they are starting to finally finish the toolboxes they've been struggling with for the past year. Well, that's it from Longhaul, at least for this week. It's been a busy one, but I look forward to hearing from you, so be sure to like and comment. I hope you subscribe and or become a patron, and I pray that you have a great time negotiating your way to better and more blessed family fun. Have a great one, y'all, and God bless.
What? Marty? Breakfast in bed at 0G? Give me a break. That's not what you meant by when pigs fly. At least the bacon doesn't splatter. So how are you going to make up for this? She wants what? An 890? See you in the poorhouse, buddy. I'm not getting in the middle of this one. And if you do that, if you do get the jump, just remember to leave the gravity on before trying this stunt again.